Alrighty. I think this is going now. Oh. There we go. Okay. So, I'm making some salmon. Let me get rid of this here. Okay. We're notifying your viewers that you are live. Okay. So, making some salmon, so we're gonna start seasoning our salmon. We're gonna start with some lemon. A little bit of lemon in there. Then we're gonna do some lime. And if you're wondering about my background, that is my book, I Don't Know These Shadows. We're gonna add some paprika.
Maybe he's not on.
He was lit up. Maybe he hasn't got off work just yet.
Maybe wait. When do you get off work?
I thought he was working the mornings now.
Oh.
Go tell Nani I'm live and she should go give me a like.
TikTok? Are you live
Yeah.
on TikTok?
Hello. Yeah, I'm live on TikTok.
Okay.
I'm cooking up some salmon. We'll get some more people joining.
You right now watching the president mom.
Ask her what's more interesting, the president or her daughter making salmon.
Okay.
Ooh, that is... Ooh. That comes out pretty hard. Jeez. Ooh.
She said the president.
Tell her boo her. Oh my god. I knocked my thing down. Sorry, guys. What's going on with everybody? As I said, I'm making salmon. My garlic powder came out freaking quicker than I thought it was going to. Usually it's a pain in the ass to get seasonings to come out, and that one just plops out. So. Turn the fan a little bit here and there. Oh, finally she joined. Told you I'm more interesting than the president. Or the presidential debate, whatever the hell you want to call it. Seasonings just yet. We're gonna let this cook for a little bit.
How many got there now?
I'm not totally sure. Got a few people that have joined.
Hey.
2, I believe, at least. One more. I'm still new to figuring this stuff out, so.
How long do you need to get TikTok live?
I have like 500 and some subscribers. So I think you need a little bit more, yeah. Before, I think it used to be, you had to have a lot higher than what I have now, so. But there are still things on live that I don't have just yet, because I haven't unlocked those. But that's okay, at least I have the live. What's going on with everybody? I just did a live on YouTube. Not too many people showed up, but I was just kind of doing a read with me thing, so, you know, it what it is. I got some reading time in. Is anybody reading anything interesting? Watching anything interesting? Hear any good songs lately? Tell me, people, what's going on. I was reading Exploring Celtic Druidism, because that's one of the spiritual paths that I've been interested in. Celtic paganism and Druidism, or Druidry, whichever word you want to use. I've also had a growing interest in Roman, Slavic, and Hellenic paganism or spirituality. Again, whichever term you want to use. Other than that, I also read a few pages of Sailor Moon Volume 12, which means I'm almost done with Sailor Moon. Gotta go back and rewatch the anime. I have not watched Crystal that much. I watched like the first season of Crystal. Tell Grandpa I said hi. But I don't know. I know Crystal is... I don't know if I'm going to continue. I mean, I probably will eventually. I know Crystal is supposed to be closer to the manga, but I know I got to the end of the first season and that whole battle thing, and then, like, it pretty much was the same as the original anime, so, in that part at least. And if that was the case, I could just stick to the 90s anime that I liked. I know it's got a lot of filler and stuff, but you might as well have the filler and the extra stories. If you're going to claim to stick to the manga, but not fully stick to the manga. I had a little bit of water. Come on. Brown with water. What's that? Okay. Oh, he had to go?
Yeah. He was driving like to work.
Oh, okay.
We call him today, call him tomorrow.
Like, he was like in the live.
Who?
You're not me.
Alright. Yeah. Everybody call him tomorrow.
Okay.
I almost got in a car crash almost.
Oh, mate. Well, I didn't know he was driving. He split up.
But he's okay, he said.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, as long as Grandpa's safe.
Yeah. I didn't expect that to happen.
No, I didn't either. But yeah, I'll probably rewatch the original anime and then watch Crystal, but first I'm going to finish the manga. There's also like 2 short story collections. I had one. Actually, I think I had volume 2. I didn't have volume 1. I had volume 2. And then, once I read all that, I watch all that, Sailor Moon will be completed for me. And then I think the next step is... I don't know yet. I would like to say I would want to do one at a time for manga, but some of these have 50, 60, 70 volumes. So I would never get to the other one if I just read one all the way straight through. Let's see. Flip these over real quick. So, I was reading Fairy Tail, but I read them kind of far apart from each other, and I'm forgetting like what character is supposed to be what. So I might just go back and reread volume 1 and just start over, since I could just read it, you know, get the volumes together and stuff.
I'll be right back.
That's not mine,
No,
right?
it's mine.
Okay, hey, can you give me my tea? Let's check to see what's going on here.
Cute.
Make sure, okay. Oh, thank you, Nate. Make sure I'm not missing any messages or anything. Okay. Got me some 7 Select sweet tea. But yeah, I'm probably gonna go restart Fairy Tale, maybe restart Bleach. I just started Inuyasha, so I don't have to restart that because I remember enough of it. That and of course I watch the anime. But yeah, I was reading Sailor Moon, and then I was reading a book called Spirits of the Wild, and that book is basically like nature, like mythologies having to do with nature, or mythologies, folklore, tales, whatever you want to call it. I guess it depends on the story, the place, etc. The first story was about tulips, and I love tulips. Tulips are my favorite flowers. I mean, I love pretty much all flowers, but tulips are my favorite. And it was such a cute story. So they tell you where these stories come from, right? You know, where they have their origins and, sorry, talking and moving this fish here. So, that one, I think, was England? I think it was like Celtic and Northern Europe. But specifically, I think they mentioned England. Anyways. So, it was about fairies or pixies, you know, what they call the little people. And about how they didn't have cradles for their little fairy babies. So they would stick their babies in, you know, tulips. Which I think is adorable. And there was a woman who saw this and planted more tulips for them. And, you know, because she was kind to them and everything, they painted the tulips like bright colors and stuff, like very vibrant, bright colors, you know. And the tulips were much bigger, you know, because they put the little babies in them and everything. But eventually the woman died, and you know they tended to like her grave and stuff, and kept the tulips there, and it looked really pretty. But then there was like, you know, a man that bought her house or her land or whatever. I mean, it's something that happened at the same time. I don't remember the exact details. But, yeah, he just didn't care for the beauty of the tulips of nature. He just cared about money. And, you know, he ripped up the tulips and planted other stuff. And the fairies did not like this. They did not appreciate his, you know, destroying of what the very kind woman did for them. So basically, according to this story, it's why certain vegetables look the way they do. It is why tulips are smaller than what they were, according to the story at least, and why they're not as bright as they were. So while it was cute, it was also kind of sad. But I just love stories like that, you know. I mean, you like folklore and mythology and tall tales and stuff. They're just like ancient little short stories. And speaking of which, these aren't fantasy, but my background here is my book, which is called I Don't Know These Shadows. Book is available on Amazon, Lulu, and my Ko-fi. So I Don't Know These Shadows is more spookier-ish stuff. Looking at my cat real quick. I had 10 stories in there. They're not all the same length. One of them is more like a home story kind of thing, which is only like a page. If you go to my YouTube, which has the same name as this, and it is linked in my profile as well, I have 2 playlists that are pretty much about my writing, right? So I have one that's called poetry, or like original poetry, and then I have my writing. So it's mixed with me talking about ideas, me talking about just writing stuff in general, and some short stories that I had done. I think maybe 1 or 2 are incomplete, but you get most of the story. The completed stories, though, are Invisible You and A Jar of Earth. A Jar of Earth, though, is in my first short story collection, which was called Another World Called Ours. That one is more fantasy than anything else. Whereas this one, as I said, is a little bit more on the spookier side. I had done a Q&A last night from some questions that I got like almost a month ago on YouTube, because while I got up on followers pretty quick on TikTok, it took me a while to get to 500 on YouTube, and I've been on YouTube longer, so I definitely was going to celebrate. But one of the questions I got asked was about tropes. You know, is there any that I write? Which ones do I like to read about? And I kind of know the ones I like to read about a lot more than the ones I like to write about, because I never really thought about it too much in my own writing. And also because I've had many ideas for novels, and they're like half written, and most of what I've completed have been short stories. And yeah, technically there are still tropes in short stories, but the thing about it is, you know, there's a lot more in full-length novels, because obviously it's bigger, there's more going on. But, you know, I never really paid attention to the tropes too much until I got onto, like, BookTube and stuff. And then, it's like, once you hear people talking about it, then you notice it more. Okay? Flip these over. Like love triangles. I don't care for them. They're not needed most of the time. You had one book that did it, and now they felt like every story, or at least every YA story, had to be it. I mean, I get what Gale and Peeta were supposed to represent and everything, but we really didn't need a love triangle in the Hunger Games. It was annoying enough. With Twilight.
And what did they?
What now?
Was they really annoying?
Nobody. I'm saying it's annoying.
Oh.
And I didn't even finish Twilight yet. Eventually I will. I read the first book. It wasn't as bad as people say, but it's not as great as some people say it is either. Just add a little bit more lime. But yeah, I don't really care. I mean, I don't care if there is a triangle or multiple partners or whatever in a book. It's not my go-to thing. I know some people, it's one of the tropes that they like. I couldn't care either way. Or I don't care either way. But I suppose I do like the found family kind of thing. That's always an interesting one. The Chosen One is a difficult one because it could be done well, or it could just be something to fill a plot hole. And I am starting to worry that the fantasy story that I'm plotting, that I have been doing research for a few years now, that I have jotted down names, notes about zodiac signs and other birth chart things and mythologies and stuff like that. I'm worried that because of how the story is going, it's going to fall into that Chosen One trope. I just hope I do it well. Again, tropes can be done well. Some of them I don't care for, but some are done well, and again, some are just filling plot holes. And of course, you're supposed to fill your plot holes, but not just with random stuff, just to fill them. Fan. Let's see. Oops. It's not very stable, sorry guys. I'm not sure when I want to start back up writing that story, because I am working on a commission story right now which has turned into something connected to that bigger story. I'm also writing a short, it's probably going to be like a chapter book novella kind of thing about jackalopes, but they're more like monstrous kind of jackalopes. I'm trying to write a series that's like set in a town and everything, so I'm going to have like reoccurring characters, but you know, sometimes they won't always show up in every single book. But the first one is going to be about jackalopes. The second one, I'm not too sure about. I have a few ideas, but I need to get this one done first. Some of the books that I'm listening to through audio, because I almost forgot about those. The ones that I had mentioned earlier, I'm reading the actual physical books. I'm also reading Bone Volume 2. But I wasn't reading that today. I was talking about the books I was reading today. But that's another one that I'm just reading in general. So, some of the books that I'm reading through audio, and I read bits here and there. I used to do wrap-ups on YouTube and stuff, and I posted some here too as well. But I feel that I was more trying to get enough done to do a wrap-up, and I wasn't enjoying books as much as I should have. And when you get on stuff like BookTube, not so much BookTok, but I feel more BookTube, it almost can feel kind of competitive, and, you know, I was starting to hate that. Sorry guys. So, while I'm still reading different ones, you know, I'm more focused on certain ones, and I'm only doing single reviews now. And that way I have time to talk about what I like, what I didn't like about books if I want to. Because when you do wrap-ups, you know, unless the video is going to be 30 minutes or an hour long, you don't have enough time to talk about what you liked in a book, because you have to talk about the other books. So, yeah, I'm more focused on certain ones versus just, you know, trying to cram them all in there at the same time. I've been more focused on my physical ones and just kind of listening to the other ones here and there. But I'm listening to Reflection, so there's a thing called Disney Twisted Tales, which is like, they're not based on like the original fairy tales that Disney got these from. They're based on the actual like Disney animated movies and everything. But they're like a what if kind of twist on them, right? So like a year ago, I read As Old as Time, which is the one for Beauty and the Beast. And the twist on that one was supposed to be that Belle's mom was like the witch, right? Or the enchantress, or whatever she was called. And I really like that book. And there's quite a few out there now. There's one for like Peter Pan and Little Mermaid and Frozen. The two that I'm currently listening to right now is Unbirthday, which is Alice in Wonderland. And this one, Alice is like a photographer. She's into photography. And I forget exactly what's supposed to happen. I just started the book. And then the other one is Reflection. Or actually, I think she has to do something to like help Wonderland, right? Yeah, the next one is Reflection, which is from Mulan. And I believe this is where she has to go to the underworld. So that could be interesting. Mulan's like one of my favorite from the Renaissance era. I'm also listening to My Sister's Keeper. I made a list because on YouTube/BookTube, people started making a list which was called 24 and 24. I probably won't finish 24, but basically it was a challenge to read 24 books that have been banned or challenged. So I'm currently listening to My Sister's Keeper for that. Oh, and The Hate U Give. Also, just because I want to, I'm rereading/re-listening, whatever you want to call it, to Going Bovine. It's been a while since I've read that one, and I really, really like that one. It's so strange. page. The cover is, I don't care about covers too much. Not saying that I don't like good covers, but this one's really interesting. It's got like a cow standing upright, holding a lawnmower, which does have to do with the story somewhat. So, Going Bovine is about, it's a YA novel. It's about this kid that pretty much it's just kind of sailing through life, doesn't care about grades or anything like that. And he ends up contracting mad cow disease, basically. Like, they give the actual name of what it is, but like layman's term is mad cow disease. And so he sees this punk/goth type looking girl that's an angel, and she tells him that he has to go like cross country with his roommate that's like afraid of everything. Like, him and his mom think there's germs everywhere that's out to get them, and he's got to go and find this special doctor that has this cure. So he goes with this other kid and meets people along the way, and they meet like this lawn gnome, like talking lawn gnome or something like that, who believes he's the Norse god Balder. I'm pretty sure I pronounced that correctly. So yeah, it's a strange story, but I really enjoyed it. I also liked her story, or her book, whatever you want to call it, Beauty Queens, which once I'm done with Going Bovine, I'll probably read Beauty Queens again, because Beauty Queens was hilarious and very heartfelt at the same time. And that one's about beauty queens that crash on an island and have to survive. My Sister's Keeper, at first I wasn't liking the writing style too much, but then I continued and everything. Still not my absolute favorite, but it's starting to flow a little bit better for me. And maybe that's just because I had to get used to it. I really don't know how to explain, because I can pretty much read just about anything that has believable characters and a good plot and everything. So, I'm open to different writing styles, but some books, the way that they're narrated, just seem to draw me in a lot more. Like, some of my favorites have been The Giver, The House on Mango Street, the Hunger Games series, The Lovely Bones, what else? John Green books. So far, What Liver Bray writes. I also did like Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine. I like that one. And I was liking the story of My Sister's Keeper. There's something about the writing style didn't capture me at first, but it's growing on me. And maybe it's just a multiple points of view. I don't know, because I don't read books, or I haven't, not that I don't like them, I just haven't come across books that have multiple points of view. I mean, a lot of them. Like, I love Three Dark Crowns, and those did have like 3 different points of view. And Caraval had like 2, going from the second book. But those are only like 2 series that I've really read. So, I don't know if that's it or not. It could just be the voices of the characters. Who knows? But it's become a lot more interesting as it's gone on. Some characters I obviously like a lot more than others, but that's to be expected. Why cats, Nathaniel?
What, Mom?
I said, why cats?
I don't know.
Oh my god, okay. Come on. He doesn't want to go for me. But for those who don't know, My Sister's Keeper is about a girl that is basically conceived to be her sister's donor. She's like, I think she's considered like a designer baby in a way, but not like where they pick her eye color or gender or whatever. Or actually, I think maybe they did have to pick her gender. But basically, her older sister, when I think she's like 5 or 6, ends up with cancer, and nobody is a match that can help her. Not the parents or the brother, nobody close. So they end up having a child to be their sister's donor, right? Like when she needs certain things, they take it from the sister. And in the time of the story, you know, what's going on in present day, I think the younger sister is now like 12 or something. Something like that, 12, 11, one of those two. And, you know, obviously the older sister is a teenager now, and she needs a kidney, I believe. And the sister is kind of tired of being her sister's donor. So the older sister that got sick is named Kate, and geez, what the heck is the older sister's name? I can't think of it right now, and I can't believe I can't think of it. I think that's because when the girl and the lawyer and the mom and everything come up, they're always talking about oh, Anna. Anna is her name. And she was named, if I remember correctly, after a figure in Greek mythology. Was it Andromeda? I think so. I could be wrong though. But yeah, the sisters are Kate and Anna. And Anna, well, she does care about her sister. You know, she still loves her sister and everything. She doesn't want to be her, like, donor anymore. She doesn't want to keep going through surgeries, and she doesn't want to give up, you know, parts and everything. So she's basically suing for, I guess what she would say, bodily autonomy. Yeah, there you go. And of course, the mother is trying to talk her out of this, because if she does not donate to Kate, Kate will die. And so, you know, it's one of those books on, you know, morality and life and everything. And, you know, I like books that make you think. Because the thing about it is, yeah, she's saving her sister, but at the same time, and it's not to say that, like, her parents don't love her, she knows they do, but she knows she was basically only conceived to be her sister's donor. And yeah, you know, it's possible that her parents could have had more kids, but she knows there's a chance that if her sister was never sick, she might not even exist, you know? But yeah, I like stories like that kind of make you think. Stories where there's not 100% a right answer to things. Getting some parts going here. I haven't checked out everything on my live just yet. how to tell about who's watching what. Because I see people joining, and then I see it says 2 people, so. But like I said, I have not figured this thing out just yet. Oh, we've got 3 people now. Back to 2. Then I could just be wrong. Salmon's selling pretty good. Funny thing is, one of the other questions that I got was like, you know, what's your favorite food? One of them is seafood. I don't get to have fish too often, so I'm glad that I was able to take the time to make some salmon. Been kind of in the mood for breaded fish, but I'll probably get some like cod for that. Maybe actually just make a batter. Fry it. That would be nice. So, got that going. Let's maybe move over here. Sorry guys, I have to move you about a little bit. I know that it said that I can start unlocking things if I stay on here for at least 30 minutes for like 3 days. So maybe by Tuesday or something I could have stuff unlocked if I can keep going. But I'll show you what I was talking about in what I was reading. I think I can for this, yeah. See, this one, a little bit easier to show you stuff. So this one is Spirits of the Wild, the World's Great Nature Myths. So that's the one where they have the tulip story in. It's not very long. Actually, the stories aren't very long. Like the tulip one I was talking about, that's like a page and a half. So is the evergreen one. They're all like really, really short. So they're just the basic myths. So I should get through this pretty quickly. It's only 157 pages. No, 159 or 60? Yeah, 159. So that's not too bad. Definitely could finish that one. Here's the Sailor Moon volume that I'm reading. That's volume 12. I'll show you some pictures in there. That's like the page I'm reading right now. We got some, interesting artwork in here and everything. Like that one right there. Oops, there you go. Now you can see it. I'm gonna go check on the fish real quick. Yep. Okay. Phone's right here. I am back, everybody. So yeah, I like that picture too. Let's see. That one's pretty cute. Oh, you can't see it. There you go. But yeah, if you guys like short stories, I've mentioned before about where my books are. I've made a few videos, and I think I got one pinned. So, you know, support indie authors, guys. I would love to like get good at drawing and just make like graphic novels, because I like graphic novels. This is the other book that I was reading, the Exploring Celtic Druidism. And in this one, I was on the section about the gods and goddesses, the deities of Celtic mythology. The thing about Celtic religion, mythology, paganism is it's not just one country, obviously. So, you know, I think some people might be, excuse me there, worshippers or devotees of maybe one specific part of that, like one certain country. You know, they might be like Irish pagans or Welsh pagans, stuff like that. But I do think that there are some that are just generally Celtic pagans, taking from the different sources, the different countries. What?
Have you seen my coastal land game?
No, it was on the table before. Is it up there at all?
Oh.
Check the library bag to make sure that you don't have it in there. There are some that I have heard of before and others that are pretty new to me. This book compares some of them to some Roman and Hellenic deities, and I think that's probably because they're a little bit more well known. So to give you an idea of like what they're like, you know. And apparently the Celts have both a sun and a moon goddess, and then there was a god that was like the god that was associated with wet heat, so like hot springs and stuff, and like a ruler over both fire and water, which you don't hear about too often, so that was quite interesting. I'm going to have to write in my little book. I don't even know if I have it over here. I might not. My tiny little book that I was keeping my spiritual notes in. It's probably not on this one. I'm going to show you. It's just a simple little black book with little bees on it. And I was keeping notes in that one, and I think I'm going to have to write down the names of the Celtic deities, because the spelling and pronunciation are kind of different than what you typically have in English. So they can be hard to remember what the actual pronunciation is, because it's not something, you know, I see all the time, so, and I want to pronounce these correctly. I will be right back. As I said. So yeah, I've been writing down deities that I have been interested in learning about. So ones I really have been gravitating towards, whether I you know, I'm going to that path, following that whole pantheon. There's just some that are just interesting, and for reasons, you know, just gravitating towards wanting to learn more about. Those would be Kali, Sarasvati. The second one mainly because I love learning and language, knowledge, which I guess learning, same thing. So Kali, Sarasvati, Aphrodite, Hestia, Nyx, Bridget, Karajuan, the Morrigan, mainly those. Oh, and Artemis. Artemis, Diana, like the moon goddesses. Also, I would like to learn more about sea gods, sea witchcraft, or water witchcraft. I don't live by a sea, but I love water. I love the elements in general. So those are some of the things that I'm interested in learning a little bit more about. I'd also like to learn more about the Norse and Slavic deities. We're at 336. Let's see. Almost out of battery. Still got a little bit of time going. There, I like my own live. Let's see. Ooh. Yeah, I can boost myself up here. Just giving myself a whole bunch of TikTok love here. Well, I think the fish is almost done, so probably end this in a little bit. See if anybody has anything to say. What's going on with everybody? I feel like I've been doing all the talking. Except for my kid that sent me emojis of cats. Double checking to make sure I didn't miss anything, because that can tend to happen. Okay, well, I gotta go check on this. As I said, check out my book, I Don't Know These Shadows. I also have poetry if you're not into short stories. They are available on, and not all of them are available on all platforms, but you can find my stuff on Amazon, Ko-fi, and Lulu. So, let's see. Okay, so thanks everybody for showing up, and I gotta go check on this.